my brother, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, man.
I've heard a lot of things going on in China as far as like cryptocurrency happening. I heard that there's a big crackdown. A lot of the companies that were trading in Bitcoin in China, they've moved and things of that nature. So I don't know what's the situation, but it feels like there's nowhere to trade Bitcoin no more or any cryptocurrency. So I'm wondering if you heard anything about that, or what do you think about this whole crackdown?
I definitely heard, because as soon as the announcement became publicized, all the prices came down. So I definitely heard that way. But this happens twice a year. I've been hearing China banning Bitcoin every year for the last 6 years, 7 years. But every time it's something a little bit different. As far as I understand, this year, what they said recently was that they're not allowing Chinese citizens to use foreign exchanges, whereas previously you were not allowed to use local exchanges, but a Chinese person could still use an exchange based in Canada or US or any other country, you know. But now apparently, I'm not sure if they blocked the websites completely or they're just saying it's illegal and they'll punish you later. But for now, as far as I know, if you're in China, you cannot use any exchange, whether it's local or foreign, to trade. And the reason I think they're doing that is because they want to introduce their own central bank stable CBDC, central bank stablecoin, which I think you may have already been seeing ads for. I get lots of ads for them, the digital yuan and all these things. You cannot use any exchange, whether it's local or foreign, to trade. And the reason I think they're doing that is because they want to introduce their own central bank CBDC, central bank stablecoin, which I think you may have already been seeing ads for. I get lots of ads for them, the digital yuan and all these things.
Yeah, the digital yuan, I heard of yuan, but now you described it differently. CBDT, you said?
CBDC, so central bank issued stablecoins. Yeah, so for it's not just China. Many other governments are trying to introduce the same as well. They want to get into the crypto game, but it kind of defeats the entire purpose of crypto. The whole point of it is it's not supposed to be issued by one central party, and they're kind of not understanding the point. It's like a boomer trying to join the movement, you know what I mean?
So does that mean for sure that this technology, it's here to stay? Because if governments, they're trying to get involved, but yet they want to have some type of control over it, but they believe in the technology itself, doesn't it?
I would definitely think that the technology here to stay, because just having a distributed ledger has so many different applications, and I think now finally the market is realizing that, and that's why you see all these major institutions like Google, IBM, Facebook, Apple, all these guys, Tesla, everyone's getting in. All these banks and hedge funds are getting in because they actually see that yes, this blockchain technology has real world applications, and if we're not going to join now, we're just going to miss the boat. You know what I mean?
I understand. So there was one thing that I had, a little bit difficult trying to understand clearly. What's the difference between a coin and a token? Because to me, whenever somebody says, I have a token, I'm equating that directly to cryptocurrency. Whether you say token or coin, to me, it may not have any difference. But how do you describe
so to put it really simply, a coin is much harder to create than a token, because the coin is the native currency of the network. So in order for you to create a coin, you have to first create a network. So the examples of some networks I can give you: the Bitcoin network, Ethereum network, Solana network. These are all networks that require tons of infrastructure to build, and they take years to build. It's not something that you can just issue. Whereas a token is something that anybody can issue right away. So what happens is networks like Ethereum, for example, allow you to build applications on top of them. So that's why Ethereum became so popular, is because it allowed people not only to transact, but to actually build applications, whether that's gaming applications or security applications or identity, any kind of application. And if you want, you don't have to, you can issue a token for your application. So some people just have applications without a token, but some people will have the application built and then issue tokens, and those tokens give you some incentive to use their application. So one of the most available out there in the market,
Uniswap,
and that is a decentralized exchange that is built on Ethereum. So Uniswap, they built the app on Ethereum, and now they've also issued, well, not now, a few years ago, they've issued Uniswap tokens.
Okay.
And the benefit of having those tokens is you get cheaper trading fees. Token. So even today, if you want to take a MUPA token, it's really easy. Okay. You can launch a little smart contract on Ethereum and create these MUPA tokens, and it won't cost you very much.
So are we saying that a token is it's basically an app for the end user? There's nothing else after that, as opposed to I guess the native coin of a blockchain or any distributed ledger. You can build something on top of that.
Exactly. Yeah. So building the apps on top of these blockchains allows these blockchains let you issue tokens for your apps.
Okay.
So even NFTs are just tokens
that
are issued on these blockchains. So they're Ethereum NFTs. NFT stands for non-fungible token.
Yeah.
So
and then NFTs are only on Ethereum.
No, there's Solana NFTs. There's NFTs can be issued on any smart contract platform. Okay. So there's NFTs on Tezos, there's NFTs on Solana, NFTs on Ethereum. Right. Any smart contract platform can have the ability to issue NFTs on top of it.
Okay. So now, a blockchain such as Binance, who has its own blockchain.
Right.
Yeah. And then also has its own BNC. What's BNC?
So Binance is a company.
Right.
And they started out as a centralized exchange.
Yeah.
And then they basically did a clone of Ethereum's network.
Right.
And they called it Binance Smart Chain.
Okay.
So they have their own blockchain.
Right. And they also have their own coin?
Yes. So the native coin for that blockchain is called BNB.
Okay. And then on top of that, so when someone says they build a token on the Binance platform,
right,
they're talking about that they build a token on Binance blockchain, or did they build the token on the Binance coin?
They're building an application on the Binance Smart Chain, and they're issuing a token for their application.
Okay, nothing to do with the native coin of the Binance.
But they will need that coin
in order to
create the application and to run the application. It will still always use the native currency, which is BNB.
So a lot of people are talking about how the blockchain, the original blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain wasn't secure enough, and then we've seen the resurgence of, we've seen a lot of coins surface, and then I think earlier you were mentioning about the ICOs that popped up in 2017. And so each one of those ICOs, were they then just tokens or coins? Because for me, when I seen those ICOs, I'm thinking, okay, each one of them is coming to correct or fortify the blockchain. That's what I was thinking. So it's probably a different app. Yes, let's call the coin and the token an app. Right. These are different apps coming to make the blockchain better, or am I mistaken?
So some ICOs were actually coins that were being launched.
Yes.
So some people actually launched entire networks in that time.
Right.
The majority of the ICO rush were actually just tokens that were being issued on Ethereum.
Okay.
And they became so crazy that I met random people who had no experience in any technology. They were just like, I'm launching my own token because it's just I'm just going to release it and people are going to buy it. And that's what literally was happening at the time. There was so much hype and mania that people just thought they could buy any random token, no matter the utility or the function, expecting the price to go up.
Did you fall into that trap?
I definitely did. I invested in maybe 4 or 5 ICOs in 2017. Some of them made a lot of money, and some of them I've never heard from the founders again. It was just a cash grab, and I just lost so much Ethereum now that I think about it. Back then it was easy because it was like $200 for an Ethereum. So I was just throwing it out there. Yes. Now looking back at what I wasted, it's really disheartening. But you live and you learn, and honestly, having that experience kind of taught me to be very careful now with what I'm investing in. Like, I'm getting a lot of flashbacks now with the whole NFT boom.
Okay.
Looking at the ICO boom. Yeah. Because now they're like literally NFTs launching every single day of different animals and different. It's getting crazy to the same point.
I didn't jump.
17.
I didn't. But they had down. This then a result of the fact that China is cracking down on cryptocurrency, or it's just that some coins are not performing well? And so that part of that question, but what I wanted to ask is that I guess for the future when we seems to have flaws when it comes to security, but you disagree with that. You think that Bitcoin is pretty secure.
I would say Bitcoin is extremely secure. I would say it's actually one of the most secure, which is why it's so valuable. And I don't think there's ever. I know for a fact there's never been an issue of double spend on Bitcoin.
Okay.
There was a fake rumor last year. I don't know if you noticed in the news, and then the price fell, but it was turned out to be fake news.
Okay.
But yeah, the whole value in Bitcoin is because it's had flaws. You're right. It's definitely very slow. It's definitely very expensive.
And Ethereum came to replace Cure, and I guess and other things, right? And do you think Ethereum came and fulfilled that?
I think Ethereum was tackling something completely different.
Okay.
Ethereum was very groundbreaking because of the smart contracts.
Okay.
So the Vitalik Buterin, the guy who founded Ethereum, he somehow had this idea where he looked at it for money. It's great for transferring value from person to person.
Yes.
But what I want to do is use the same blockchain technology, but have a completely different application. And his application was smart contracts.
Okay, I understand.
And I think we had a conversation about smart contracts a week or two ago.
Yes.
It's literally groundbreaking technology because it takes out middlemen from many different industries. That detects when a tenant deposits money into the landlord's account. So for example, let's say the smart contract could say once to this account,
yes,
then process a code to unlock the door to the apartment. That is a smart contract. That's something Bitcoin cannot do.
Okay.
So that's why Ethereum blew up and went crazy.
What's something that Bitcoin can do, because Bitcoin is only you were saying that
currency. If you look at the original white paper for Bitcoin, it says Bitcoin a peer-to-peer digital currency.
Yes. And
it started out as a currency.
Right.
And it actually was working great as a currency when it was cheap.
Right.
Because and when not many people were using it.
Okay.
But now that so many more people transactions, or 50, I think it's
it's less than 3, 4, 5. Less than it's
something like that. It's a really ridiculously low number of transactions per second.
Yes.
So that means when there's tons of people doing transactions,
right.
Not only do transactions can take up to an hour, I remember in 2017, I had transactions were going through 4 or 5 days later from when I made them.
Right.
And buy coffee. Not only that, but the fees went crazy too. Like I think the highest Bitcoin transaction fee was like $100. So like even if you want to send me 10 cents of Bitcoin, you have to pay a $100 fee to do that.
Were we paying that much back in 2014?
No, but back in 2014 I think it was just like maybe a few cents, because there were not that many people using it.
Okay.
But because it can only do a certain number of transactions per second,
right.
The more people that use it, the higher these fees are going to go. Because everyone's going to try to pay the miner more.
So $100 fee transaction.
I think it was 2017. I remember it got up. It was either $50 or $100. But basically, it's ridiculous.
You read on the number. It's high.
And a lot of people, they just want to buy. Especially people who are just getting into Bitcoin, they want to buy first $100 worth of Bitcoin.
Yes.
So just to do that, they have to pay another $100 worth of transaction.
Right. Okay.
So Bitcoin security is great. And decentralization is great.
Right.
The problem is the speed and the cost.
So what fit the bill and be there in order to be faster and?
So everyone is trying to solve this problem. Yeah. I think it's something that Vitalik, the guy who created Ethereum, he called it the blockchain trilemma. So
the blockchain trilemma?
So he drew a triangle and he said, you're basically going to only be able to achieve 2 of these 3 things.
Okay.
One is speed, one is cost, and one is decentralization.
Depending on where you put your focus on.
Exactly. So you can either be super decentralized, but then you're going to have a high fee and high cost. High cost and low speed. Or you can be really fast and really cheap, but you won't be decentralized. So like an example I'll give you for that is Solana. Super fast, super cheap, not decentralized.
Okay.
Ethereum is actually I would say the most decentralized smart contract platform. But again, it's not very fast. NFT craze, I've seen gas fees of $200, $300 US dollars to do one transaction. I was trying to buy some NFTs and I had to pay $300 US dollars on top just to buy it. So Ethereum is really decentralized and secure, but the problem is the speed and the fees. So no matter which blockchain you're going to go with, you always have to see what is the right balance, what are they trying to achieve. But for me, a lot of people don't care about decentralization.
What do they care about these days, you think?
I think people are too caught up in the hype of they just want to pay low fees and be really fast.
So, but I mean, as a trader and investor, when you see something like that coming to the market, isn't that a good thing then? To invest in something like that because of the hype. Because a lot of the coins, of course, even though we passed the ICO stage, you still have that moment where this coin is not going to last forever, but it's going to be a wave with it. So let me just ride out with the wave with it. Is that like Binance? You think is one of those, or is it really essential?
So I actually like what you described. I like riding waves. So if I see there's a big interest in a coin or a token, even I will just get on it. I will try to get on it as soon as I so much. But if you're looking at short-term trading, like 6 months or less, you want to be riding those waves.
But which one of these coins that you actually feel that's the one for the future? Because you did mention that you invest in coins that you can see them in the future.
Okay,
it's not just for the wave.
Definitely. So the ones that I'm the most bullish on, Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Yes.
Even though Ethereum does have competitors, so you have to keep an eye out for that.
Yes.
Polkadot. And the reason for Polkadot is because Polkadot is basically going to be the network that connects every different blockchain.
And Polkadot has its own blockchain.
Yes. So Polkadot is actually, I would describe it as Web3. Basically, it's going to allow you, for someone who's transacting on Ethereum, to communicate to someone who's transacting on Solana. So it's a connector of blockchains. So it's going to be very important. And
connectors are good. Just like TRX, Tron, I think is one of those where it allows people to, it's kind of like of a YouTube, except that you can build a platform such as YouTube on the content to the consumer without having a middleman, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, as I mentioned, Polkadot is a...
Somebody told me that you are a great advocate of Nano.
I'm a huge advocate of that. That's my favorite cryptocurrency.
Yeah, because I don't know if you like Ethereum more than you love Nano, and I don't know if that's the secret coin that you don't want to tell us about, but that's what I'm interested in. I wanted to find out more about Nano, and what is Nano exactly?
Okay, so Nano is my personal favorite cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Why? And it's also the most I would say one of the most subdividing and disputed cryptocurrencies that there are out there.
Okay.
So Nano uses something called DAG technology.
Okay.
A lot of other chains use DAG technology too. For example, Phantom, IOTA, HBAR, they all use DAG as well. What DAG enables you to do is have super fast transactions, almost instantaneous. It also lets you do super cheap transactions. In the case of Nano, they're feeless. So I can send you Nano today for paying zero, not a low fee, not a tiny fee, zero fees.
Wow.
So if I send you 1 Nano, you will receive 1 Nano instantly.
For no fees?
No fees. Now, I'm not telling you that Nano is free. The network is not free. Node operators have to pay for the network. But for the everyday user, it's feeless. For the node operator, you're gonna have a cost to run that node.
Is there another coin out there that's feeless? Or you do have other ones, such as Nano?
Not that I know of. I know there are coins which have very low fees,
but not zero like Nano.
Not zero. Not as far as I know, not zero like Nano. For me, the reason I personally love Nano, there's a number of factors. But
speed.
The purpose of Nano. Let's look at the purpose. What does it do? So Nano.
And please, as you're explaining the purpose of Nano, try to put it beside something else that's similar, so that somebody who doesn't understand cryptocurrency but understand another crypto that they heard of, they may put it in the category like.
So then the best one to compare Nano would be Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because Bitcoin also started out as a currency.
Okay.
And it only became a store of value is because it failed as a currency.
Okay.
And it only failed as a currency because it was slow and expensive. So Nano, I personally think if Nano was the first one to launch and it wasn't Bitcoin, we would all be transacting with Nano today, and everyone would be happy because it's feeless and instant. So that we wouldn't have all the problems we have with Bitcoin now. But so Nano, what it is, it's a currency.
Yes.
It does not try to be a smart contract platform like Ethereum. It does not have any applications. It does not have any dApps or tokens on top of it. It is a pure currency. It is a pure means of exchanging value.
Okay.
So for me, it is basically digital money. So money is used to purchase goods and services, and that's what Nano is.
And so Nano, right? So if we were to compare with Bitcoin, remember how we said that Bitcoin itself is not a smart contract, but on a blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain,
right,
it's possible to create somehow to tweak it in order to create smart contracts. So Nano, is it possible then? Because I know Nano, the way you explain Nano, it's a currency, just like how Bitcoin was a currency before it became a store of value, but on the blockchain, it's possible to create smart contracts. So what about Nano? Is it possible?
Yeah. So if you launch a layer 2 on top of Nano, you can launch smart contracts. Yeah. But the base layer, the layer 1, the most secure layer, the most decentralized layer, which is the one that's the most valuable, it's a pure currency.
Okay.
The reason I was so interested in Bitcoin in the first place is because I thought that I would have money that the government could not stop me from spending, that banks would not ask me, like if I'm trying to send money today to someone if I randomly send money to someone in Africa, I'm going to get a message from my bank saying, who is this person? Why are you sending them the money? It's my money. I can do whatever I want with it, as long as I'm not doing anything illegal or trying to harm someone with doing that transaction.
Taxation? What do you think about taxation?
In terms of
declaring your taxes, and so which is not possible with. I mean, it is possible to declare how much Bitcoin I have and declare it as tax, but when we're talking about Nano, it's as if Nano is just running in the jungle by itself.
No, you definitely do. You definitely will have to. If you're in the U.S., you have to pay taxes on all cryptocurrencies, including Nano. We live in Hong Kong, where there's zero taxes on crypto, so it personally doesn't affect me at all. So that's a beautiful thing about living in Hong Kong.
Yes. And then you mentioned about the 51% attack, which has never happened. But is it because Bitcoin, it's a proof of work? And what about Nano? Nano is a proof of stake?
Nano is neither
proof of space you were talking about.
Proof of space was Chia. Nano is neither proof of work nor proof of stake.
So what is it?
It's actually a variation of proof of stake. It's called open representative voting. So what that means is it's kind of like a democracy. Let's say you hold 100 Nano today.
Yes.
Let me give you a background first.
Yes.
The total supply of Nano is 133 million.
Yeah.
And it's fully distributed.
Okay.
So there's no mining involved. It was all given out for free over a 2-year period on the internet. All you have to do is go to this website, do a little captcha, and you get a tiny amount of Nano. And you could do that as many times as you want. It was open to the public. Everyone could do it.
So when that happened, before you continue, when they were distributing Nano for free, right?
Yeah.
If you're at home and somebody's telling you that they're giving you something for free, and you coming from a background where it says there's never anything for free in this world, but yet here somebody's offering you a Nano for free.
Yeah.
What was your reaction? The question. The question is, so what do you think? What do you think that will make someone accept Nano today? What's missing in the Nano world that will make somebody accept Nano? And then you mentioned that if I was to ask you the same question back in 2013
About Bitcoin,
you would say it's time.
Time,
right?
yeah.
And I appreciate that, but I'm trying to understand that the difference back then with Bitcoin was you had the dark web where people went there and they actually purchased things at a high value, but in exchange of a Bitcoin. So that's the thing for me that made me believe that this thing Bitcoin was here to stay and it's not going anywhere, because people are willing to exchange it for something more valuable, right? And you said that today people are still, you can buy things with Nano. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm probably sure that you can buy things with Nano today, but you're buying it for the same value. So if the bread is $10, you only give it opposed to, well, the bread might be too little. Let's say a motorcycle, right? The motorcycle is $3,000. Back then in 2013, you only gave 3 Bitcoin, worth $900
at the time.
And
the same motorcycle at the time. Worth 3,000.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would sell the I don't understand that. I don't understand why they would sell things for under.
Do you think those people were involved with something like?
Personally, I thought the main reason for the dark web was to sell things that you were not allowed to sell. They were getting it through the mail because you couldn't buy. There was no other way to buy these things unless you wanted a paper trail. And even though there is a trail with Bitcoin, it's not like it's private. But if you opened a Bitcoin wallet and bought Bitcoin from someone off the street, it's not tied to your name, right?
Right.
So that was there for what I understood is the reason for the dark web and Bitcoin and how it became so popular, the Silk Road and all this stuff.
Right.
Is because they were selling illegal things. I never knew that they were selling regular goods for cheaper than I wouldn't understand why they would do that, because if I was a motorcycle seller,
yes,
if I wanted 3 Bitcoin,
right,
I would just go buy 3 Bitcoin for $900 and then I would go sell my motorbike for $3,000 and I would keep the difference $2,100. Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So most of the things that you purchased on the dark web were actually things that otherwise you couldn't be sold.
Exactly.
So the only way to sell it, let me get some Bitcoin for it.
Exactly.
And hopefully, okay. So you're right, with time.
Yeah.
Hopefully
it's just about time, and you need people to actually understand the technology and learn to adopt it and accept it. Like as I told you, the only reason I became really bullish on Bitcoin is when I talked to my friend in the UK and he was like, just send me Bitcoin, it's the same thing. When I heard that, like him equating Bitcoin to money,
yes,
then I was like, okay, this is going to be big, I'm going in, like I'm going in.
Yo, word up. Sometimes we just zone, you know what I'm saying? Trying to escape all this stress, all the beats. Thugs, hustlers, pimps, hookers, you name it, you know what I'm saying? Right now what we about to do is we about to bring the next level, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we just need to ventilate, you know what I'm saying? Bottle of Henny and shit. This is our life right here, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, I don't know, Black. Yo.